girl looked like a doll, with curly dark hair and a face too perfect to be real. The boys looked like young Princes Amber-eyed, sharp-featured, quiet in that unsettling way intelligent children often were. Riley Hill nearly screamed when she saw them. "You had triplets," she gasped. Maisie smiled faintly, though the tiredness in her eyes never quite left. "Meet your godmother." The three children greeted Riley sweetly enough, but the moment Maisie stepped away, their angelic acts slipped. "Tell us everything about Mommy and the Vanderbilts," the eldest demanded. "Yes," the little girl added brightly. In secret, because they had not returned to Zlokova just to settle into life quietly. They had come back because someone had hurt their mother, and nobody hurt Maisie Vanderbilt without consequences. Riley knew better than to underestimate them. After all, these weren't ordinary children. They were Maisie's. And Maisie herself was no longer the same girl who had once been driven out of her own home with nothing but shame and a suitcase. In the 6 years since leaving, she had built a new name. A powerful one. Zora, the most sought-after jewelry designer in Stosso. A ghost in the luxury world. The mind behind pieces royalty themselves had worn. The woman companies would bankrupt themselves trying to hire. That was why she had returned. Not to beg for a place, to take back what had always belonged to her. Vienna Jewelry, her mother's legacy. The company Stephen Vanderbilt had carelessly handed to Willow after Maisie was gone. And now, the same family that had thrown her out had unknowingly offered her $150 million to return as their star designer. They simply didn't know that Zora and the daughter they had exiled were the same woman. Yet, Maisie stepped into Vienna's headquarters with her head high and her heels sharp against the polished floor. Everything around her felt both familiar and foreign, like walking through the body of a memory someone else had stolen. The receptionist barely looked up. No respect, no professionalism, no standards. Willow's influence was obvious before Maisie even reached the elevator. When Willow finally appeared, she froze. For the first time in years, the woman who had ruined Maisie's life looked genuinely shaken. It only lasted a second. Then Willow recovered, crossed her arms, and smiled in that same cruel way Maisie remembered. "Didn't think you'd have the nerve to show your face here again." Maisie smiled back. "Didn't think you'd have the nerve to invite me back." The air between them sharpened instantly. Willow tried to sneer, to regain control, to remind Maisie that this was her company now. But Maisie only tilted her head and looked around the lobby. "Vienna is doing worse under you," she said coolly. "At this rate, it might not survive much longer." That was enough. Willow slapped her. The crack echoed across the lobby. Employees went still. Maisie slowly turned her face back, her eyes colder than glass. Before either of them could speak again, a deep male voice cut through the tension. "What's going on here?" The room shifted. Every face changed. And when Maisie turned to look, she understood why. A man walking toward them carried power the way other people carried breath. Tall,